Hey guys, thanks a lot for clicking on the video. As you can tell by the thumbnail, today we're going to take a look at the 12 best wrestling games. Here we go. Okay guys, so today we're going to look at my list of what I feel are the 12 best video games. So quickly, the criteria is it has to be a video game that I've played, and I've played a lot of wrestling games, so there's not going to be any big heavy hitters that weren't considered. Two, I looked at reviews, I looked at gameplay scores, and of course, it's gotta be games that I like as well. So these are 12 of what I feel are the best wrestling games for your money. Sadly, this is all we're gonna see of pro wrestling. I love this game on the NES, it just doesn't hold a candle to these other 12. Let's get started. Oh, and before I forget, let me know what your favorite wrestling video games are down in the comments. And also, if you're not sure what you want to comment, my question of the week is going to be, who is your all-time favorite pro wrestler? Let me know down in the comments. Starting off our list at number 12, WWF Wrestlefest 1991 by Technos Japan. Now, Technos Japan made their mark in the professional wrestling world by collaborating with the WWF at the time to develop WWF Superstars in 1989. Although the first game did fairly well, it lacked in graphics and gameplay. However, their second game, WWF WrestleFest, released in 1991, received much praise and had no competition. WrestleFest became so popular that it was remade for iOS in 2012 with an updated roster and even inspired Retromania Wrestling, seen as a spiritual successor to the beloved WrestleFest.
Now go for the next match.
Number 11, WrestleMania, the arcade game, by Midway, 1995. Now imagine if Mortal Kombat had the WWE license. That's pretty much what WWF WrestleMania, the arcade game, is all about. The game boasts digitalized graphics similar to early Mortal Kombat titles, but instead of blood, wrestlers drop random objects when they get hit. For instance, Bret Hart drops hearts. It's just a quirky game from the 90s that surprisingly still holds up very well today. To some people, one of the drawbacks is the smaller roster, which features Bret Hart, The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Bam Bam Bigelow, Yokozuna, Doink the Clown, and Lex Luger. But to me, that's perfect, and that's about what you would have gotten out of Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. Number 10, WWE All Stars, 2011 THQ. Now, unfortunately, with WWE being the only wrestling company that regularly licenses its brand for video games, there aren't many options available for gamers who prefer arcade-style wrestling games. Before going out of business, THQ did release one title that catered to this group. All-Star boasts an impressive roster of both modern, for the time of 2011, wrestlers like John Cena, Randy Orton, CM Punk, as well as legendary figures from the 80s such as Macho Man Randy Savage, the Million Dollar Man Ted DiBiase, and Roddy Piper. In this game, you'll witness intense matches where superstars soar through the air and jump heights of 20 or 30 feet. While the Path of Champion mode does lack some features, the Fantasy Warzone mode more than makes up for it. This mode allows you to imagine epic battles between current WWE superstars and past legends, complete with really cool captivating video vignettes. Trust me, it's definitely worth hunting this one down if you skipped it back in the day. Number 9, WWF Smackdown 2, Know Your Role, 2000, THQ. The N64 wrestling game aimed for realism, whereas the PlayStation WWF game focused on providing a fun experience. Smackdown 2 had gameplay that involved a lot of juggling and highlighted the use of multiple finishers to defeat your opponents. Although these matches didn't exactly mirror what was shown on WWF TV every week, they were undeniably enjoyable. While the graphics may seem outdated now, like a lot of the games from the PS1 era, it's clear from this early title why the Smackdown games enjoyed such a successful run. Number 8, WWE Day of Reckoning, 2005, Ukes. Ukes and THQ dominated the world of WWE video games with the Smackdown series on PlayStation and later Xbox. Since the series was not available on Nintendo consoles, Ukes decided to launch a new series with distinct gameplay and special features. WWE Day of Reckoning was a huge success on the GameCube, and it quickly received a sequel that some say improved upon the original game. Following the release of the sequel, the Nintendo GameCube was discontinued, prompting Ukes to shift their focus exclusively to the Smackdown and Raw series, leaving the Day of Reckoning franchise behind, but still having a solid following. Number 7, WCW NWO Revenge, THQ, 1998. Now, for you younger fans, can you believe that back in the 90s, WCW came dangerously close to overtaking the WWF? The New World Order storyline was a huge hit, but beyond that, Ted Turner and especially Eric Bischoff assembled an amazing roster of wrestlers. Hulk Hogan, Macho Man, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, DDP, Chris Jericho, Goldberg, Raven, the Giant. These were just a few of the incredible talents they had. We all know how it eventually turned out for WCW, but Revenge gives us a fantastic opportunity to relive the glory days of the rivalry that almost toppled Vince McMahon's empire. Coming in at number 6, Def Jam Fight for New York, EA 2004. Now, Aki continued their legacy of creating engaging titles even after their collaboration with WCW and WWE came to an end. They shifted their focus to partnering with EA Sports and Def Jam Records to develop the popular Def Jam series. The first installment, Def Jam Vendetta, hit the shelves in 2003 for the GameCube and PlayStation 2, followed by the sequel in 2004 for the same consoles, plus the Xbox. Def Jam Fight for New York is often hailed as the principal of the series, following the trend of sequels by enhancing everything that made the original game great. The gameplay was top-notch, it featured fluid animation and responsive controls. Following the success with Def Jam, Aki turned their attention to wrestling games inspired by the Muscle series, which were originally released in Japan. Number 5, Fire Pro Wrestling World by Spike Chunsoft, 2017. The Fire Pro Wrestling series first began in 1989 with Fire Pro Wrestling Combination Tag Team on the PC Engine. Over the years, new entries were released almost annually until 2003. After a break, the final title for the Xbox 360 was released in 2012, known simply as Fire Pro Wrestling. However, negative reviews halted any future releases until Spike Chunsoft regrouped and launched Fire Pro Wrestling World in 2017. Fire Pro Wrestling World marked a significant comeback for the franchise, receiving critical acclaim and achieving impressive sales figures on the PC and the PS4. While the gameplay may take some time getting used to, the standout feature and the reason for such a high ranking on this list is the Creation Suite, which continues to attract players back to the game even years after its initial release. This is another must-own wrestling title. Number 4, WWF WrestleMania 2000 by THQ, 1999. Just 1 year after Aki brought the epic war between the WCW and NWO to the N64, the same studio unleashed a masterpiece in the form of one of the greatest wrestling games ever created. With the same impressive polygonal figures seen in WCW NWO Revenge, WWF WrestleMania 2000 delivers an enormous roster of superstar wrestlers, complete with their iconic entrance themes and unique animation to the N64. Not only does it offer a wide range of match types and pay-per-views, including the grandest spectacle in the wrestling industry, but WrestleMania 2000 goes beyond mere presentation and features. This game proudly showcases one of the most captivating story modes ever crafted. I still have friends that argue which is the better game, WrestleMania No Mercy or Revenge. Number 3, WWE 2K14 2013 by Ukes. Now, the WWE franchise's move to the current-gen consoles was a disaster, partly due to the fact that WWE 2K14 had already reached near perfection. The game included over 40 iconic WrestleMania matches, featuring legendary wrestlers like Big John Studd and Goldberg. DLC even offered the chance to play as members of the NWO. With improved gameplay and the streak mode allowing players to either break or protect The Undertaker's WrestleMania streak, it was undoubtedly the top wrestling game in recent years. Number 2, WWE Smackdown, Here Comes the Pain, THQ 2003. Some people criticize current WWE games for imposing arbitrary rules on players in the name of realism or to maintain WWE's PG image. Thank God we're finally entering the Triple H era, right? In the past, older WWE games allowed intergender matches and offered more hardcore options. For instance, the Inferno matches where the objective was to set your opponent on fire. In Here Comes the Pain, you could throw your opponent off a building, catch a ride on a helicopter, and then execute a elbow drop from that same helicopter. This level of absurdity surpasses even what Vince Russo's wildest dreams could come up with, making this one of the greatest wrestling video games ever created. And coming in at number 1, we have a two-way tie on the Game Boy, King of the Ring and Rumble Roses. Nah, I'm just kidding. Number 1, WWF No Mercy, THQ 2000. Ranking WWF No Mercy at number 1 may raise some eyebrows, but many fans consider this as the pinnacle of professional wrestling video games. However, there are a few others that may offer a more enjoyable experience, but No Mercy set the standard for wrestling games with its detailed create-a-wrestler mode, extensive rosters, and impressive animation that still impresses today. It's a prime example of Aki's dedication to enhancing their games with each release. While newer players may not appreciate it as much, those who grew up with the game will always hold it in high regards. This cartridge is still more often than not the game sticking out of my N64 to this day. And that's my list of the 12 best wrestling games. But I want to hear from you, Marks, as well. What's on your list? What game do you think I should have added? And don't forget to tell me who your favorite wrestler is down in the comments. Until next time, guys, thanks a lot for watching, and don't forget to kick out at 2.